Okay, I'm on the far side of Grand Traverse, and I don't know if anything important is going on up here, but I started the camera because we see two police cars flashing their lights. So if anything interesting is going on, we will be catching it. Looks like maybe they just pulled somebody over, but apparently it took two cruisers. And they're searching his belongings. And here I'm gonna take the little shortcut near the Norwayne Mower Museum, and that would involve getting back to the street back here, Bay Court. So this part runs parallel to Merriman. And here's the shortcut. Howdy. Are these mowers for sale?
Yeah.
Are you having any luck selling any of them? I've never seen a white mower. That one's impressive.
What's running now is a bunch of horses and self-propelled mowers we've got back.
Oh, cool.
That's what's been worked on. That's what's running.
Great.
I mean, you want something.
My mower is kind of on the, it's working for now, but its years are limited, so.
What is the rider?
Yeah. Well, cool. I'll keep this in mind. So you're saying these do they run?
Most of them do, but they all need a little bit of work.
Need a little bit of work.
And the city's on our case, so that's why we're cleaning up. And then
Okay.
why all the garbage is out right now.
Oh,
but
cool.
He's been working on a bunch of small mowers.
Oh, okay.
He's got those in the back right now.
All right. Well, cool. My name's Roscoe, by the way.
Need a weed whip or anything?
What's that?
You need a weed whip?
I just bought a new one from Home Depot.
How much you spend?
I think it was like 38 bucks or something.
Yeah, I know. You can't.
Yeah.
We got 10 of them in the garage. For what?
Uh-huh.
You know, just people who want to pay for them.
Yeah.
Because after a while, the lines rot out.
Right.
And you got to take them all apart and put new lines on them. It's a real bitch.
I'll bet, yeah.
And then, time you got your time into it, you get the lines and stuff. You got to get 50 bucks for the, you know, 40 bucks for the weed whip, and you go to the store and buy them for that, and they're brand new.
There you go. Huh. Well, cool. Happy to meet you. I've seen the.
Just take them around.
Oh, so it's not, you're not the mechanic, it's your roommate?
No, the guys in the house.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm gonna knock on the door in a minute. I brought him some coffee, and I gotta go cut lawns this afternoon. Like I said.
Oh, your friend, you look after him? You're his friend?
No, I just
Yeah.
I keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
He's like 73. So.
Yeah. Well, that's really nice of you.
He's
wish.
got a daughter out in Belleville. You know, she comes by, but
Oh, okay.
you know, she got her own life.
Well, you're a good neighbor. I'm glad it's refreshing to hear stuff like that from people.
Yeah, like I said, we're trying to clean up a little bit.
All right, well, take it easy. I'm going to take this little shortcut. I always see dodgy characters coming through there from, I don't know, from over the other side of Merriman.
Right over there that cuts out to Merriman.
Yeah, yeah.
And keep that up too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I have you to thank for keeping that path clear when I ride through.
I've been working on it for at least 10 years.
Wow.
I throw whatever gravel I can find down,
Mhm.
and you know, cut the road back to the
Uh-huh.
you know, rake it out.
All right, well, have a good day.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. We learned a little bit about the Mower Museum that people were complaining about. Apparently the city was getting on their case. So a neighbor friend, the gentleman was an elderly gentleman in his 70s, is helping him out. We need more of that kind of neighborly behavior. So I'm going to cross over Merriman up to Henry Ruff. So I'm here at Henry Ruff, just south of Palmer at Riverview Trailer Park, and they've put some work into this place, although I'm not sure exactly where the river is. I guess it's that way. If you're up high you might be able to see the river, but I don't think it's necessarily within view, but that's okay. I will forgive them for giving the park a unrealistic name. But yeah, conditions here have gotten better. There's some vacant lots out here on the corner. And there's some, you know, well-kept trailers, and there's a few kind of rundown ones. People gotta, you know, live how they can afford within, you know, certain regulations and rules. Got some more vacant spots here. I have an anecdote about a relative, I won't name them, whose husband was cheating on some ratchet chick who lived in here. And this relative came and was pouring gasoline around the foundation. Hey, how's it going? This is lot number 23. Apparently she was stopped short of tossing a match to the place, which is probably a good thing for everybody involved. But yeah, you know, don't be cheating on your spouse. Get out of that relationship and then branch out if you need to. It's really not fair to anybody involved to break trust and to be dishonest. Not to mention repercussions like vengeful wives who might decide to perpetrate some vigilante justice. So we're headed just south on Henry Ruff towards the old entrance of Eloise. I used to ride through there regularly. There's a nice little park back there and whatnot. But these days the other side is not open. So I can't ride through the gate out by Kroger. But I don't know. What do you think? Should we try on the odd chance that maybe the gate over there is open? Okay, you insist. Obviously the Eloise grounds have been taken over by an entertainment company who exploits the mentally ill and their history and the medical professionals. Southgatechurch.org. But yeah, there's a nice little park area back here. I remember once listening to a bunch of turkey vultures chatter back and forth over here, and they were loud. Big birds. So I may end up having to backtrack if there's no outlet on the other end, but at least I can enjoy this little path. When I come back, there's an alternate path through the woods that I will probably take if I do have to turn back. And next we have a women's shelter next to it. So I'm assuming this is the only entrance exit to the place. Keeping a bunch of lighting and things for the atrocity attraction, as I call it, the atrocity. Built a little playground for Samaritas, the children. Howdy. So I don't know, let's go around the powerhouse. There's the golf course. The firehouse over there. The bakery that burned down. So I don't know, the atrocity people have rehabbed a lot of the property and removed a lot of debris and asbestos and whatnot. So there has been some good. There's been some local revenue, I assume, coming through the city. They're building some sort of facilities here next to the firehouse. It looks like the gate is open, so that's fortunate. Won't have to backtrack completely, but I am going to go around the building there. As you can see, they're fixing up some of the old windows in D building, the K Beard building. Took down the civil defense signs. And there ain't no getting out on this side. Yeah, the civil defense sign notifying people of the fallout shelter. The nuclear symbol on it is gone. It's probably in somebody's collection. But yeah, I do consider it to be exploitative. Along with the positive aspects, it's a disgrace to the cause of people with mental illness and the medical professionals who dedicate their lives to helping them out. This fountain is usually filled up with garbage, and it's actually a little cleaner than it has been when I've seen it in the past. Do I have to read this sign? Okay, we got Eloise, Wayne County's medical complex. Eloise was founded as a poorhouse in 1839. It eventually became one of the largest public health care facilities in the U.S. The most advanced medical and psychiatric treatments were used here. During the early 20th century, Eloise physicians pioneered the use of x-rays for diagnostic purposes, radium for the treatment of cancer, and open-air treatment for tuberculosis. The tuberculosis asylum was over there. Psychiatric patients underwent electroshock and insulin shock therapy, as well as music, recreational, and television therapy, which were also all innovative. Music therapy, television therapy. I hope that did good for people. Psychiatric care ended in 1979, and the General Hospital closed in 1984. I watched them tear Wayne County General down. I took a little bit of video while it was happening. Most of the complex's 75 buildings were razed by the mid-80s. Then 7,100 patients are buried in the Eloise Cemetery. Potter's Field over there. And are buried, their graves marked only by numbered blocks. Sad. So let's escape this facility. We're escaping the mental hospital. Historic Eloise. At least they've rigged up some lighting. And oh geez, the gate is closed now. So I guess I missed my opportunity. So I'm gonna have to take the back path, the back way, all the way back to Henry Ruff. Yeah, apparently 2 kids fooling around set the bakery on fire. And destroyed a piece of interesting local history. It's very sad. Wonder what they did with those kids. Hope they got punished. And have been rehabilitated to where they're no longer vandalizers. This is the shelter, the back side of the shelter. the pathway goes in this direction. It's gravel, so it's not a fun ride. They've really widened it since last time I've rode through here. It's gonna let us out into the Wayne County Sheriff parking lot, I think. Yep. Grandpa Johnny worked here as a Wayne County Sheriff officer and detective for many years, retired from the department. Used to be the juvenile hall right here that was torn down recently. It's a radio tower. So Grandpa had a lot of stories to tell about his duty here. And I have some vague memories of being a kid and being brought down here by Grandpa, where he ran the computer took up a whole room back then, where they would check on people's criminal records and whatnot. And he had to put a scare in me. He said, "I'm going to run your record, young man." So he put in my name, Gary Roscoe Johnson, and this machine chugged away, making the old-time computer noises for about 5 minutes, and then it spit out a long ticker tape. That Grandpa yanked out of the wall and looked it over for 2 or 3 minutes while I'm sweating it out, thinking every bit of transgression, every bad thing I've ever done is going to be recorded on this ticker tape showing my criminal record. And then he suddenly looked up and said, "All right, son, you're clean," which was quite a relief. Okay, we're going to continue around the old Eloise grounds, and I'll stop complaining about the exploitation that the haunted attraction, the haunted atrocity is carrying out. There's a Society for the Blind. I've got the wrong name, but it is a non-NGO, AWBS, for blind people. Got the old pond over there, the artificial pond, the tracks behind it, along which I have explored occasionally. I've noticed that magnet fishers have been active along the edge here, trying to pull stuff out. Wonder if they found anything interesting. Police have got more people pulled over up here. They're patrolling the area heavily. So let's explore the alley behind the Kroger. There's some trash along the edge here, but they've cleaned up this corner considerably. So I don't know if it was the owners of the Kroger strip or if it was the Eloise people, but this whole corner used to be just completely a total trash dump. And it looks like they've cleaned up the garbage and planted some grass, and it looks presentable now. And when the spa was open here, I used to see two Asian gentlemen squatted down on their phones in the back. So I don't know if they were security or what, but everyone pretty much knew that it wasn't just a nail salon at spa, that you could, that it was a jack joint. Let's call it a jack joint. You understand what I'm saying? You get a happy ending to your spa if you wanted. And these places are sometimes tied up with human trafficking and whatnot, although not always. I'm sure there are legitimate spas. And the area behind Kroger is in better shape than I've seen it before. So somebody must have twisted their arm and made them clean stuff up. So this container is full of garbage. Surprising, huh? Full jar of peanut butter. It's been opened though. It's a good container though. I'm gonna dump that in the dumpster and claim the container myself. Yes, I am a scavenger. I am a scavenger. To satirize the Iggy Pop song. Na 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 na. So there's a hole on the bottom. It's not a completely sound storage solution. Suspenders. But if there's some way attaching that to my bike, it could be something useful. So let's see what I can do with it. So I'm here at the tracks where they cross Merriman. There's the big water reservoir, above ground part, and the sunken part behind it. And I think we're going to take ride down Avon. The pavement is crappy, but the view is nice along the tracks here. It's rather scenic. In the fall, these trees turn bright red, like they are on fire. Now, if I weren't taking video, I would probably turn down one of these streets and go out to one of the far east-west streets and go through Westwick Square. But I just wanted to capture kind of the serene nature of a bike ride along Avon. Avon calling. Or I forgot the ding dong. Let's try it again. Ding dong! Avon calling. looks like they've done some tree trimming, the electric company. They've done some of it in Norwayne where I live. It looks like they've been doing it here along these power lines, which is probably a good idea. I mean, if we're going to pay for electricity, we're not just paying for electricity when they feel like giving it to us. We're paying for continuous electricity to keep our appliances going and our food from spoiling and from freezing our asses off in the winter. Niagara. Coming on up on Winifred. That goes through to Michigan Avenue. A memorial on the corner here. We'll get a peek at the memorial. It changes over time as people add things and take things away. Like the little Spider-Man doll in the lap of the teddy bear. The inscriptions are fading, so I can't remember the kid's name. And I listen to podcasts while I'm riding, very rarely music, and I love music, and I used to listen to music continuously, but the older I get, the more I save music for special occasions, get the same amount of enjoyment out of it instead of having a continuous soundtrack going, in which case I've sensed that I get less enjoyment out of it if I'm continuously listening to music. This way it's something special, and when I do listen to my favorite music, I appreciate it more. American Jetway. Coming up on Carlisle. And I'm going to pause the video. Okay, I'm at Annapolis and Hubbard, headed south. And I'm going to take a little ride through Westwick Square. I've had friends who lived in Westwick. Had a teacher, Mr. Markham, beloved German teacher, ski club sponsor, science fiction club sponsor, very popular teacher, taught at Wayne for many years, from the early 70s, late 60s. And has sadly passed away at this point. But that man introduced me to some great science fiction. Every year they would take a group of us down to the science fiction convention down by the airport. And so I was introduced to some really interesting authors, got some books signed. Gordon R. Dixon, Joe Haldeman became one of my favorite authors. I read his Forever War book several times over. Joe Haldeman was a Vietnam veteran who got his nuts blasted off. And became an anarchist politically. He's still alive, he's still writing. Angelo DeMario Playground. I think that area back there used to be called Sue Win, and there was a school there or something. So here we are in Westwick. Remember that movie, The Witches of Eastwick? I used to know some girls who lived here who called themselves the Bitches of Westwick. And they will go unnamed because I don't know if they want that to be public. We've got what looks like an abandoned bike back here in the corner of the park. I'm assuming it was probably stolen, or was it locked? It doesn't look like it's locked up. I don't know. There's a story behind it. Sometimes I'll cut through this lot, the church lot, to go on to Vinoy. But today I'll follow around the Westwick passages. And the reason being, it lets out right across from the this little park pathway, trail path thing that goes behind the hospital. With any luck, after all the rain we've had recently, it will not be flooded. There's one area of it that gets flooded, notoriously flooded. So let's cut through diagonally here. Temperature is pretty nice with a good breeze. So let's get a little warmer later. So I'll be running my errands and whatnot later and enjoying the cool air now while I'm riding my bike. I have a little bit of yard work to do. Maybe I should have done the yard work now when it was cooler out. The yard work is some of my least favorite adulting type activities. So I'm hoping my camera's on straight, level, relatively level, and aimed appropriately. When it's not, I'll either get a lot of road or a lot of sky. And I was wondering what these balls were hanging on the line. And somebody explained to me that when they have a helicopter that comes and lands to drop off a patient, they want to know where the wires are, so that makes sense. This is one of the areas that floods. It's not too bad, I can cross it. And I have crossed it when it was flooded. I just prefer not to. The other part that floods is back here. There's a little path that goes that way. It looks like a very old sidewalk. that's not kept up anymore. So I'm assuming it has some history. It probably goes back in time. Well, let's go back around the school. Franklin Junior High. My junior high. Got a little garden area. So maybe they're teaching the kids gardening. Looks like the kids are having some track, informal track stuff going on. This looks like the powerhouse. So should we go around the school or the park? Let's take a little tour around the school. The world's shortest fence, topped with barbed wire. We don't want anybody getting in there. We'll be coming on the cafeteria, dining area. But since I think school is in session, it's probably not appropriate for me to shoot video through the window. But I will turn my head and peek in there. Doesn't look like anything's happening, but hey, there's my reflection. Backstage doors, the main office. Got this neat bench here with the Franklin Hornets. And carved in the metal. That's cool. Benjamin Franklin Middle School. They don't call it a junior high school anymore. It's a middle school. Wonder what it is about junior high that they decided it needed to be changed. Hype Recreation Center from the back. The pods of Franklin Junior High. A building designed by Minoru Yamasaki, the architectural talent who designed the World Trade Centers, the Covadis Theater, the Yamasaki building at in the Cultural Center downtown, and many more structures. I wonder if he was still living when the Twin Towers came down. And if he was, what he would have to say about the suspicious nature of how they came down. As if, like in their own footprint, as if having been formally demolished instead of knocked over. More memories on this corner. One of my first official jobs on the record, paying into my Social Security, was at Little Caesars here. I worked at Burger King as well, and then Little Caesars after that. And boy, did I liked pizza already, but I liked it a lot more after working here. And it looks like they've got the pest control people in, which is a good thing for a restaurant. I'll tell the anecdote again about the people who lived here. There was a bunch of bikers who lived here, and on Saturday nights, on the weekends, they would have big parties. And they would have the delivery guy take the deliver pizzas to them. And he was more than happy to deliver the pizzas, because he would disappear for an hour and a half or two and come back completely what we would call Chinese-eyed, with no whites to his eyes, only red. So I'm assuming they partied him up after he delivered their pizzas. I'm continuing up Annapolis here to what used to be Foster's Party Store, then Highlight Party Store, and then I don't know if it had another name after that, but recently, several years back, somebody bought it and has been very slowly converting it into a ice cream place. And progress has been very slow, so I don't know if they're running into regulatory issues or what, but it's called Dan's, and there it is. So I would patronize this place if it was open. I wonder what the story is as to why it's taken so long. Let's continue up to the old park. That they were trying to sell a while back. The for sale sign has come down, but I have fond memories of this park. A lot of summer band concerts were given here in the pavilion, which is no longer here. There's the emergency public broadcast tower. And this is where the pavilion used to be. So I remember sitting right about here with the band, performing for the audience. In much simpler times. I mean, I don't know if that's just nostalgia or if times were indeed simpler. I'm guessing that things were simpler. Unfortunately, they don't have a little ramp down off the sidewalk. I think things were simpler. And you know, we equate that with being better, along with the complication, I should say, probably come good things and innovations and so forth, but also a lot of terrible crap. We're coming up to Clinton Street. Either Bill, former president, or George, the godfather of funk, Clinton. Get up off that funk, to quote George Clinton, because we need the funk. Get up off that funk. We need the funk. Get up off that funk. We're coming up to Forest. Now, some people would call James Brown the godfather of funk, and he deserves that honor for sure. So I wonder how we can co-honor them. He transcends Godfather. So what title transcends Godfather as far as funk goes? The father of the Godfather, the Grand Godfather. There we go. James Brown was the Grand Godfather of funk. We're coming up on the old Unistrut building. As you can see, the trademark Unistrut construction. These things. It's no longer labeled Unistrut though. This building next door is labeled Unistrut still. Some history on this corner. We have Goodman's Feed and Seed. Used to be right over there. And from what I understand, that was their second location after urban renewal. But Grandpa used to drive up here to get stuff for his garden. Used to be able to buy chicks here, which is not to say that it was a house of prostitution, but actual chicks. Hey, how's it going? I was just reminiscing about Goodman's Feed and Seed.
I
Here.
get it all the time.
I know, they probably bug crap out of you.
People, some guy stopped by just a few weeks ago saying, you know, he used to come here when he was a kid.
Yeah, I used to buy chicks, and my grandpa bought all his gardening stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Are there any artifacts or any remnants of the old place in here? Has it all been completely cleaned out?
No, yeah, well, that if you're familiar with the area,
Yeah.
Superior Insulation was here for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
After that, and then we bought the building.
Huh. It's a cool.
Yeah, from what I understand, there used to be a silo over there on the other side. Of
Yeah, a lot of history right here. But it's still a really nice place. I'm glad you're keeping it up.
Yeah, this is our home base. I spend a lot of time here.
Yeah. So it's a business. I wondered if it was a residence or if it was some kind of business.
Yeah, we own and operate some rental properties. And
Oh, very cool.
This is our headquarters.
Very nice.
Yeah, I always said I'd like to get a couple of the, you know, the old photos and blow them up. And put 'em up.
Wayne Historical Society has ran photos occasionally, and people have reminiscences, but I haven't seen a whole lot of like pictures. Apparently, people didn't bother to take. And Goodman's Feed and Seed was out somewhere else before urban renewal too. So
Yeah, like I said, I get all the time. People are always stopping by.
Yeah.
In fact, one guy was stopping by to buy some fertilizer. He goes, "I was looking for Goodman." He was trying to buy fertilizer.
Oh my God, that was recently. Was he an old guy or was he just?
Yeah, he's like an 80-year-old
He was
guy.
like a time traveler.
Right, yeah, he wanted some special fertilizer.
Wow.
You know, with a lot of nitrogen in it.
Yeah, like wow, that's maybe he's building a bomb. I don't know.
I thought that too when I
Yeah,
talked.
really. Well, have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Well, that's cool. I have to talk to the current residents of former Goodman's Feed and Seed. Well, we'll continue up to, we'll cross Michigan Avenue. To a lot of history over here too. Light is about to change. It's funny that that anecdote about an elderly gentleman stopping by there recently for some fertilizer. So yeah, what's the corner here used to be a 1 hour Martinizing place. And we had Wayne Hobby, just spent a fair amount of time in Wayne Hobby looking at model cars and whatnot, so forth. And what used to be the Funny Farm, or the Rock and Roll Farm, or subsequent names of the place. And some famous acts actually played the Funny Farm back in the 70s. Is he turning? Salem Witchcraft. The Stooges played there. Had a notorious event where the Scorpions Motorcycle Club egged them. Iggy got in an altercation with one of the members of the Scorpions, and it turned into a feud that resulted in the record Metallic KO. So if you listen to Metallic KO, you can hear the band just barely holding it together because of drug issues. The only member who wasn't fucked up on drugs at that point was the guitarist Ron Ashton. And you can hear entire rows of seating being thrown up onto the stage along with other stuff. With Iggy babbling incoherently from the stage. A lot of history on this corner. The Kresge's was here. Cunningham Drugs on the corner. The Wayne Public Library, where I spent a lot of time researching important things that were important to me. The old huge picture windows that they filled in with bricks. It used to be a really nice view. So let's go back to the little trail that goes along the river. This is City Hall. And the river isn't especially high, although sometimes it floods all the way up to the edge there. Looks like the city's planting some vegetation to prettify the premises. Sorry to drive you off the path. Oh, that's the Wayne Garden Club. The trail, the other part of the trail on the other side, but I'm going to go up, which is to say north, on 2nd Street. This used to be a big dip. Some people called it Tickle Belly Bridge because if your parents sped up when they went through it, you would lift off the seat and get a funny feeling in your belly. And I wrote a satirical article about the pollution in Rouge at that time. It was pretty bad. And my story involved being thrown out of the back seat of a convertible into the river and encountering a swamp thing type creature called the Rot Nest Monster. going to continue up to the Wayne Memorial Campus. Now, it's been a pretty pleasant ride. These rides are sometimes made unpleasant when I gotta get a good bunch of photo documents for the ride journal or video that I have to caption, and it makes it seem more like work than recreation. So I'm hoping to piece this video together with a minimum of narration and post it so that folks may enjoy the trajectory of my ride on this Monday. And here we have the old office entrance, which is no longer the office. Since the recent renovations, they moved the main entrance to the north side. Here, let's take the pathway through the schoolyard. The new office entrance is here. I think this is still the lunch area, although it used to be downstairs. Pool balcony. Maybe I'm wrong. The lunchroom did used to be downstairs, and downstairs there's the lunchroom, lunch area. The Norman Stockmeyer Performing Arts Center. The shooting gallery. There was absolutely a shooting club and a shooting gallery in the 60s where the subsequent lunchroom was that we ate in. And Chum's Donuts has been replaced by something called Cloud Heads. So, you know, because we want our kids to have their head in the clouds of smoke, preferably cannabis smoke. They've revamped the old laundromat, which I've patronized a few times, and now it's called Market Fresh Deli, and it's taking them a while to get open too. Hoping they get it open. I'll check it out. I'll patronize it at least once to check it out and review it. So we're headed down Grand Traverse. There's the site of a crash into the pole and the repairs. Now, as long as I'm down here, as I mentioned, they've done some tree trimming away from the power lines. And for the most part, it looks like it was a pretty good job, but I have some questions. It definitely appears as though some of this stuff could come down and be a problem. And they really didn't adequately trim that. I'm also worried about this stuff. Why they left this. I don't know. They didn't touch this at all. stuff has been trimmed. They're putting a new playscape playground in for the kids, so I hope they'll maintain it and the local people will not dump trash and vandalize things, which may be asking too much. Cayley Park. We're coming on Lincoln Johnson Field, Lincoln, for the elementary school that sat here for many years, where my dad went to elementary school, with Adams in the background, and Johnson for Hank Johnson, the tireless community activist and Norwayne advocate who pulled strings at City Hall over the course of time to make things better in Norwayne, who passed away a while back. I get choked up thinking about Hank. He was a good guy. And he butted heads with people at times, like when people would use the S word, the Shacktown word. He didn't like that, and through him, I have taken a distaste to the name Shacktown, although some people use it affectionately. I think it's denigrating and prefer Norwayne Historic District. Or Norwayne, just call it Norwayne.